Thanks for staying with us. So last week, we had started a conversation on how to help young children who are addicted to adult content, on how to stop them, on how to even help parents get the tools on how to protect their children from these kinds of content. So joining us on the show now is a technological practitioner, Mobolaji Moshood. We tried to get you last week, but we have some technical issues. Mr. Moshood, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you.
Oh,
Thank
fantastic.
you very much,
Good to have you.
Team, for having me.
So, unfortunately, we don't have so much time today, but it was important for us to bring you back to be sure that we can get this learning, because many parents are confused. You know, some of us are techie, others aren't, and they need help in how to protect their children from these content. So could you share it in a very, very simple way where people who are watching can actually understand what to do to help their children?
Okay, let me break it down this way. Maybe we just approach it in this manner also. First is to let us understand that before technology, we have people. And people continue to evolve. So also people who create, every day creates this technology also come with different innovations. So in this context, we're talking about the parents and the children. Now we also have the process, which is a simple way, the ABC on how to use these technologies, both effectively and also in a safe manner. So, and there is a standard best practice framework on how this should be used. Now, many of us always ignore this, even adults. When we get the devices, we just move into, launching it, and then here we are in the social space. Now, the technology itself, now that's the third one. Like I always say, it's a double-edged sword. So you have to know your place in it. Now you have, it's like a marketplace. So marketplace, you have the social media, you have all the other enterprise solutions, you have even the education areas there. Now in this marketplace, you have the players. Those we call the good guys and the bad guys. So just like we have in the real world scenarios, where you have to protect your children not to go to certain areas or locations, the same way we also would love to do in the social space, in the cyberspace. Now, let's bring it back to context so that we can always align whatever solution we're going to provide at the end of the day to a certain set of people. In this context, we're talking about age group, which you can put into 3 different groups: 5 to 7, 8 to 12, and 13 plus. Now, those age groups are the people we're talking about here that we really need to focus on. And when we get it right with these groups, we can be sure the adults, at that point in time, they're sure of how to manage, how to take care of themselves. Now, we're talking about solutions now. The solutions always come from within. I always say, inside out. From the parents first. Now, I said earlier, don't forget, I said the people, and now learning how to use it, this same technology which we have purchased for these children. Now, the solution approach I will put to this, before I even talk about the tools at all, is to talk about what I call the social contract. Within the parents and the child, there must be an established understanding, no matter how little that child is, on how you must use this, and we agreed upon that. It may not be written. In a corporate environment, we always document these things. We create a framework where how you must use your email. We create a framework how you must use other infrastructure within the organization. And we put policy to back it up. But back home, we can have this done in principle, in a good understanding, a good rapport with the children. Now we have this social contract. Now parent contracts and we have child contracts. An understanding from the child to say, this is what I must do and this is what I must not do. And these are the time bounds on it. So once we establish this and we have them to trust us, we have, we can then automate. This is where the tools comes. You see, most of the time, we always put the tools first before we have this basic understanding. So just for the want of time, we have a couple of tools we could use. We can always, lay our hands on. I have tried personally many, and I have also evaluated also some of them. But one easy ones for us to lay our hands on is Google, Family Link. For Google Family Links, you can always, have this around you, download without having to pay any fee. But if you want to go a step further, like I said, the solution must be targeted towards those age groups we are talking about. Now, Google Family Link may not be able to, solve all your problem in quotes for 13 plus and further down. But other tools are also out there that could also do much more than, what this Family Link can also do, But other approaches are also very, very much important, like getting them much more busy and getting them much more engaged with the good side of, the cyberspace.
The Google Family link that you mentioned, can you break it down on how we can even start, with that first? Okay,
thank you, Nima. You see, this is a tool that helps you to control your time, the children's time on the device. Now, I can launch a new device and I give it out to a 12-year-old, and I can say, okay, for your gaming apps and all that, I will allow you to use them maybe between 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And once 7 p.m. is done, it's logged out. I can shut down the whole system. I can shut down the whole device. Now, for other activities like you don't want these apps, or you need, before any new apps is launched or installed on that device, he or she needs your permission. He or she needs your authorization. So it will come to you like like you have your alert on your phone to accept that particular child in, or to accept that app that the child wants to install on the device. So it monitors quite a lot of the activities, the apps. You can even narrow it down to saying, okay, you have WhatsApp there to chat with your friend, and I can limit it to only 3-4 hours for you to use that. Or I locked it out. I don't want you to use a video of that particular WhatsApp, So that's how good it is. Another good thing about it, Nima, is it's a Google apps. And you can tell today, as of today, Google is still the #1 when it comes to geographical management systems, So they have locations. You can have your location tracked. They can even track. I use this also. I put on my locations so that they can also know where I am at a point in time.
Right. All right,
they can track my last location. I can track their last location as well, right, in case anything goes wrong.
Let me let BC ask you that question again.
Mr. Mobolaji, can you hear me now?
No, very well, BC.
Okay, so I said I liked what you started with. You explained how parents should have had like a contract with their children, a sort of agreement before we release the tools. But I was saying, how COVID-19 happened on everybody. We didn't see it coming, and then we had to release these tools because the children had to be in school, only for us to realize that the kids were trying to outsmart us by going to other sites while they're supposed to be in class. Now, a lot of parents are in a dilemma. They do not know how to control the extent to which the children can go. And these kids are so smart that they can delete their search history and all of that. How do we begin to enforce these boundaries we did not start with in the first place, one? And how do we begin to, block out certain sites so that they are not able to access it?
Thank you very much, BC, and I appreciate you were able to pick that from my introduction earlier. You see, in a corporate environment today, you see, those people we call the IT service management, companies that have attained the IT service management maturity. What that means is that they have put in place the way IT infrastructure should be used, effectively and safely also, without causing any problem. And they put it, I remember, I could recall in 2007, we have a particular issues on an organization that most of the staff, once they resume into the office, they either visiting the sports channel or visiting the Facebook. We had to put a tool into place to ensure that we only open this site up within 5 to about 8 p.m. Now, back to your question. We, as parents, we must get these contracts, in place. It must be the understanding we must establish. That must be the first point of call. Then we will also, explain to them, how do you use this effectively for your own benefit and for your own good? Now, before we now comes to tools, now the process you can always engage. And I also have a good idea, a good approach. Let me introduce this to you. I call it the project-based, engagement for children. So a couple of children and a couple of undergraduates I mentor. You engage them with projects also. It could be drawing. Our interest could be in drawing. We can do that always online too. So you agree. This is the timeline. 1 month, you must get me these pictures. You must get this and use this too, and learn how to use this too also. And you continue to monitor each other and say, this is how much more hours you're going to use out of your free hour. By the time you make them busy, get them busy, the only thing they end up doing on those devices at the end of the day will be the good ones, the good things that those devices were originally created to be used for. So to monitor them, for example, when we had the lockdown, the Zoom example you gave, you could restrict only the children to only the Zoom environment. Take over the whole systems. Lock all the other apps up. Don't open them all, predetermine when they should be opened. So you can leave them open, say, from 5 to 7. The other aspect of the Zoom, it's always open. You can even control what should happen in the Zoom also. Those are the things that the tools will do. But you see, don't just do that. Get them to understand why you are doing it. It's very important. This has worked very well for me, personally. So they need to understand, because there will be more. I told you they bully a lot of things.
Don't you think that it is just better to just keep them away from these tools unless they are under strict supervision? You are sitting right there with them. Because they are going to find a way.
Thank you very much, Yenny. Thank you, Yenny. Like I said earlier, I said technology is a double-edged sword. In the whole of your conversations before now and just about now, I haven't heard anyone say, oh, keep them away from technology. Don't use it. You can't do without it. We've all agreed on that. Now, how to do it safely is what we're discussing here now. Now, I have a personal experience daily of a 12-year-old boy who is what I call a whiz-kid, a developer, who could do a lot of things and hack into any system. Now, what has worked for me, and that's why I'm emphasizing this, it's not the tool itself, but the understanding that, guy, look, this is very harmful for you. And I'll tell you a personal experience with this same 12-year-old. He happens to be on Discord. I don't know if you know about Discord. It's a social environment too for children, with some of his friends, who some of them were, different part of the country. And you have an intruder into the system, into that social environment, introducing a drug to them. Introducing opium to them. Now, because you have made him to understand these things in the real life scenario, they immediately were able to shut this down. And later, it was a couple of days later, they were telling us the stories. My own 12-year-old was telling me the story, and his friend was also told the dad who later, we later discussed this. Now, they were able to manage it That's what I'm saying. The independent, building them to be that independent-minded, to be able to manage this. They will always come. Just like you leaving them in the school premises, when they have the point to make their decisions. Like you rightly say, Yenny, take that age 8 to 12. They are the guys that are always querying and asking questions. They query the systems, and most of the time they are impatient to wait for your own answer. They find their own answer themselves. So you have to make them be equipped enough to face that world. That world will continue to evolve. Just like the technology evolved, that world of the bad guys will continue to evolve too.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. You know, I think what I've gotten from this conversation is that it's not about the tools. It's still about raising the children the old-fashioned way.
Right.
The old-fashioned way. We still have to have this conversation because either they'll find predators either online, offline, in school, in the most protected areas, they'll find predators. So it's how you equip the children from being old-fashioned, having that training, raising them, having that conversation, that social contract with them is still the way to go. Not so much about the ball, because as YK said, no matter how much parental control you do, some of these children can hack it. You know, so yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Moshood. I have to let you go at this point. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
All right.
Sir. Thank you. Yes, Nima, you're going to say something?
No, I was, saying that, they would hack into it. I remember putting the password on the TV, the cable channels, and I came out one day, all the channels were locked. The next day I came out, all the channels were open. So somebody sat in the house.
Mariam said that her mother was saying her password in Hausa, telling somebody in Hausa. Her son, who doesn't understand Hausa, was just then, after a while, now it's going to please tell me what is number 1 to 10 in Hausa. They're just playing a game with 1 to 10. As they told him 1 to 10 in Hausa, he immediately knew grandma's password.
My 5-year-old has hacked my password. Immediately her siblings came back. He said, I know mommy. And she called out.
My grandson, Obiajulu, my grandson is not 3. He sends me texts with his mother's phone.
What?
To say what?
He's not, I just see all kinds of funny pictures, or he will take my pictures and then I will just see my picture. He calls me with his mother's phone.
Wow.
He's not 3.
Nothing beats parental control than that conversation. That's fantastic. I think I got that from him. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. That's all we can take on today's show. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.